Is the House of Representatives corrupt?
Well, my response is I think it's going to shock Nigeria and the whole world. The House, there is corruption. I would rather say there is corruption in the House of Representatives. Not only that there is corruption, there is institutional corruption. And these are all things that I can also prove. And these are all the second layer of what my struggle is going to be about.
So former President Olusegun Obasanjo was right then to say that the lawmakers are very corrupt and the president should be aware of them.
Obasanjo is not completely wrong. There's corruption. The only thing is that we keep living in denial. But I've been part of that system, and I know that there's corruption in that system, and there's also institutional corruption in that system. I've been there for 5 years, and we've seen a lot. But I'm happy that this trigger has happened.
But in the 5 years that you've been in the House of Reps, would you say this is the worst situation?
Well, I'm not trying to gauge talking about situation or not. I'm answering a straight question that you asked me if there's corruption in the institution, and of course there's corruption in the House, and there's institutional corruption.
It's amusing, Honorable Jibrin, that you are saying you are indicting the very institution you belong for 5 years, and you say it's corrupt, and you've been part of it. In fact, some are part of the leadership of the House of Representatives.
Well, I tell you this, I've been part of that institution for 5 years. I've never been involved in any act of corruption. I've never been accused of being part of any corruption. I have never shared money in the National Assembly. And I tell you
never.
This, never. We've come to a point where...
Even in 2016 that is said that you also and your constituency will benefit from a 4.1 billion project.
Well, there's never been any 4.1 billion. It's a creation. It's a blackmail orchestrated by the Speaker himself and the 3 other principal officers. Of course, as the chairman appropriation, I will be interested in promoting projects, not only for my constituency, not only for Kano, but for Nigeria as a whole.
So do you have projects for your constituency?
Why they were busy?
Do you have projects for your constituency?
Of course there are projects
it goes
that are in my constituency. I give you an example. Like the Kano Film Village. The Kano Film Village, how many people are actors or how many people are cinematographers from my village? How many people? How many people are cameramen? How many people are involved in the film industry from my village? For goodness sake. That is a project that is going to take a couple of billions to complete. Is it the people of my village that are going to benefit from that?
But you influenced that. But you influenced it.
Of course, because it's a massive vision.
That's not the only project.
Second of its kind.
That is not the only project that is in question here. There are other projects that you said that you have influence on, Jibrin.
Well, the point is that for the Speaker and his cohorts, while they were busy inserting all sort of projects, viewing centers, town halls, and all sort of things, as a lawmaker, one of your responsibilities is to take projects. But if you want to take projects, take a project that will be useful to people. Take a project that has a massive vision. The Kano Wood is employing about 20,000 youths. By the time you put the film village, it will be employing about 250,000 youths. It will also amount to revenue to the federal government. It will become the center or the center of film industry in the whole of West Africa. So it's a massive vision. Then again, we've not really used our film to promote our own culture, our own economic potentials. It has generated a lot of controversy now in Kano because Speaker Dogara, using one member from Kano, went there and sold it to the religious community leaders in Kano that it is meant to be a disco center, a club center in Kano. And I asked, don't we have Islamic movies? Aren't we going to do history on our great leaders? We don't have standard films on the Ziks, on the Awos, on the Ahmadu Bello, on our traditional rulers, traditional institutions, our potentials. Aren't we even going to have film on President Buhari himself, his life? These are all lot of things.
Let's come back to some of the major issues. You've laid a lot of allegations, and some of these principal officers are asking, what exactly, specifically, are you telling the nation about some of the things that you are putting up against them? You are just being said that you are just throwing tantrums.
Well, it is not tantrums. I've raised allegations, and they're specific. And it is important for you to note that since I resigned, there's been about three attacks from some group in the House. One, Namdas came illegally and said he's talking on behalf of the House. He's been warned, so I'm sure that he's not going to try that again. He came and he spoke, and all he spoke about that I'm immature, I betrayed, I'm strong-headed, etc., and the rest. And promptly I replied them, and I'm sure that you must have read all my replies. And of course, secondly, yesterday the appropriations committee came up, and they said they were excluded from the entire process. I provided documents, about 15 documents, to show clearly that they weren't excluded. In fact, the deputy chairman who chaired the press conference, mind you, only 9 members out of 40 members of the appropriation committee participated in that press conference. He, the deputy chairman who chaired it, was even the one who designed the template for the subcommittees of appropriation committee members to go and do their work and bring in their reports. Then finally, of course, the minority leader, who is also one of the biggest accused persons in the whole of this thing, also went on air to accuse me of so many other things, which of course I have responded to. But one thing again that I want the general public to understand is that it's the dynamics of the politics that actually brought this crop of leadership. And that is why a lot of people have approached me to say, okay, so why is all these issues about Jibrin, everywhere within the House, Jibrin, everybody Jibrin? There must be something. Why is everybody on your neck? Look at this. We had a tight election. We did the unconventional thing. Build another alliance. Won the election with a margin of 8 votes. Nobody who was in the mainstream of APC that was happy with me. The biggest one in that category, of course, is Femi, who happens to be my own personal friend, very close friend of mine. So they've held that grudge against me. Secondly, on the night of the election, around 2:30 a.m., I was busy going around, seeing members here and there. The speaker called me to go to a house in Maitama. I have never been to that house before. And when I went into the house, I saw himself seated, I saw Leo Ogo seated, and I saw Senator Omishori seated. That's the first time that I'm meeting Senator Omishori face to face. And he said, we have to discuss. And I was listening. And the discussion went on. And the idea was that Dogara is going to have the votes, and Leo Ogo is going to be the deputy speaker. I was a bit shocked. So we left there. And Leo left very excited. He's going to be the deputy speaker.
You agreed?
But immediately.
You agreed?
No.
At that meeting?
There and then I told them. And I told the speaker, and I said, why don't we allow this to get to the floor and see how it plays out? But he signed into it. He wanted Leo. Of course, the speaker had always wanted Leo to be the deputy speaker. So we went out. When I discovered that he was so consumed in that agenda, and I could see the bigger picture and the danger in taking that action, I went into a separate action and try to mobilize members and ensure that LASU emerged. Go and watch the video. Immediately Dogara was announced, Leo walked towards me and he said, it is my turn. And that was the time I gave him the bad news. And I told him that we are not going to nominate you. And he started barking and shouting at me. It is there in the video, go and watch it.
So you betrayed them at that point.
For a good cause.
Isn't that the reason why they call you a betrayer?
You need to note 2 things. One, I did not agree at that meeting. And secondly, if you betray somebody for a good cause, then so be it. I did not enter into that agreement, and I cautioned the speaker. And so we had, he tries to force himself through, and I made it clear to him that you are going to lose. we had a discussion with him. He doesn't want to listen to me, so I went back, and of course I instructed Babangida to go ahead and nominate Lasun. And Babangida nominated Lasun, and Lasun emerged. Now Leo became a sworn enemy. He's never forgiven me because he thinks that I am the person who stopped him from becoming Deputy Speaker of the House. Incidentally, the Lasun that I also brought in to become the Deputy Speaker joined him in the House in fighting me. Why? Because of the budget process. The budget negotiation process is such a strategic committee. It comprises of about 10 persons, 5 from the House of Representatives and also 5 from the House, from the Senate. Traditionally, the Deputy Speaker and the Deputy Senate President usually head the committee as chairman and co-chairman. I know that Lasso has been looking forward to that because as Deputy Speaker, apart from consideration of a report, he is chair of the Budget Consultative Committee. He's also chair of the NILS. His Speaker Dogara had taken away NILS from him. So he's already frustrated. Then we came to the budget process again, negotiation committee. Dogara also took that away from him. So, but Lasso, rather than understand that it was taken away from him by Dogara, who is sitting as the chairman of the budget consultative committee, Lasso was blaming me, transfer aggression. He said it is me.
All right, Honorable Jibrin.
So I need to make you understand this so that you should understand that there are background of a lot of
political dimension to it. All right, because you also bargain your way to being the chairman of the appropriation committee, isn't it?
Well, I don't understand what you mean.
During the politicking for the leadership of the House, you also had a bargain.
Had a bargain? You are saying it.
I'm asking you.
No,
I mean, that's the word on the street,
you,
that you had a bargain to becoming the chairman of the appropriation committee.
I don't know anything about the bargain. What I did was that I tried to look at and take the best decision, I think, in the interest of the country, and it's become part of the biggest mistake I've made in my life.
There are layers of betrayal from your perspective of your colleagues now. Are you happy that you are betraying them one more time?
About what?
About these very allegations you are putting forward.
Well, if these allegations are considered betrayal, so be it. A few days ago, I said something. It might be difficult for people to believe this, but I tell you this. In every system and in different sectors in this country, there are people who are part of that system. Even if you are a product of establishment, yeah, you are part of it. But maybe something in you is not comfortable about the system, and there's nothing you can do about it until when there is a trigger. Everything you see me doing, to the best of my conscience, to the God that I'm going to die and meet him when I leave this life, that is my innermost. That is what I've always wanted to have the opportunity to do.
You're convinced you're doing the right thing?
Yeah, but when you are in a system, it is difficult for you to just stand up one day and start challenging the system. And I didn't even realize that I can now build this up. It was just a few days ago, and I said, look, this is a trigger, so maximize it. Since it's already an issue, let it not stop on only budget issue.
So what's your end goal at the moment?
My end goal, in the immediate, I will want to see, of course, we've written to the EFCC and the anti-corruption agencies. I've sent in the names of the 4 principal officers, Speaker Dogara, his deputy, the whip, Alhassan Dogwa, and of course, Leo Ogo, and 8 other members. So there are 12 in numbers that have submitted their name with various degrees of allegations. I pray, and I will love to see these 12 people being prosecuted, found guilty, and sent to jail to send a very strong signal of the battle against corruption in this country. That's in the first instance. In the second instance, I will also like to see a situation where Speaker Dogara will reconvene the House immediately. You know, I find this absurdity beyond measure. Allegations are put before you that you know that they are facts, because I made specific allegations. They are not bogus allegations. They are not allegations like telling somebody that is immature or is a betrayer. I said you took project that is meant for a constituency, diverted it to your farm. I said you took money meant for rent, wasted it, furnishing all sorts of guest houses, etc. I made specific allegation of massive corruption and abuse of office against the speaker. He's still seated there. You're still calling him speaker. I'm calling him speaker. And we're talking about fighting corruption in this country. Nobody is talking. Nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to ask him to step down immediately. Specific allegations. He has not answered any. He has rushed to court. And when I wake up in the morning, everybody is going about his business normal. You know what? If this outburst fails, I believe that is the final death point for the fight against corruption in this country. Who in any system will want to come out and blow the whistle? Forget about the fact that I left my office before I am now blowing the whistle. Yes, it might not look too tidy.
Because you are not happy. A lot of people think that you are not happy. And that's why you are making the noise now.
The point is that what I'm saying is it true or false?
Because they believe that you were thrown out of that office. That's why you are making the noise.
Well, I wasn't thrown out of the office. Even that in itself, they've been contradicting themselves. Of course, there have been a lot of contradictions coming from the side of the speaker. The speaker went on television to say, I have resigned. The same speaker said, I have been removed. NAMDAS came on air to say that there is no padding in the budget because National Assembly has the constitutional power to make insertions into the budget. But the same NAMDAS, in that same statement, said the chairman appropriation padded. The 9 members of the appropriation committee yesterday, in their statement, they said, we don't want any external investigation because in the entire budget process, there is no any breach. In the same statement, they said the law enforcement agencies should hold Jibrin responsible for all the breaches in the 2016 budget. So I don't even understand what they are talking about. But in my own case, I made specific allegation. I said you took 40 billion and directed the distribution to just few out of the massive number of members of the National Assembly. I said you tried to force 30 billion on me to be introduced into the budget. I said you tried to force 20 billion into the service-wide vote. I said you put in over 20 billion in between the 4 of you of wasteful projects in the budget. I said you tried to scam the House, introducing a mortgage system that would be deducting 1.5 million monthly from the running cost, not the salary of members, from the running cost, money meant to run the offices of members. You want to be taking 1.5 million in it to go and fund it. You said you want to build houses for members. So I made specific allegations. Then the other 8 members that I'm taking to the anti-graft agencies, all of them I stated it. And they're all different kind of offenses that if they are dealt with, it will resolve the general problem of the House.
Honorable Jibrin,
Yes, sure.
do you agree that you failed in some capacity as a chairman of the appropriation committee? Because the document which you oversaw did not even go through with the president. The president didn't assent to that. Are you not ashamed that some people will ask that the version of the document you work on could not be passed? It was the harmonized one by the deputy speaker that was eventually signed by the president.
Well, you can have it right all the time. Life itself is sweet and sour. I made a comment a few days ago, and it was misinterpreted in one of my tweets, and I said, though I'm not perfect, but I'm happy that I'm going to be 40 in September, and one of my greatest achievements is that I have finally discovered what I can live and die for. And I'm telling you this, I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. I'm so glad that I've broken away from that cycle and I've embraced openly. All my life, I've tried to fight corruption internally because I will not pretend I'm a product of the establishment. So it's difficult for me. But now, even my mentors and my bosses will accept the fact that I have gone out of that cycle. You know why it's difficult sometimes? They will tell you, oh, you have a future. Nobody is going to trust you again. Nobody is going to do a deal with you again. I was telling my wife, I seated here 2 days ago, I said, I'm so glad because that's not the kind of life I want to live after 40. So if you have anything you want to do and it's an illegality, if you hear the name of Jibrin, run away. And why I'm happy is that I'm not outside the system. I'm inside the system.
But you've still not
And I will
answered
make-
the question.
and I will make the
You've still
best
not answered
use-
the question.
I will make the
that-
best use
that
of my
the-
remaining time within the system.
That
to
the
clean up the
document
system.
which you chaired on was not signed by the president. Are you not ashamed of that process?
I think, Shehu, you need to understand how the budgeting process works. This is not the first time that the budget is taken to the executive and it is not signed. And there's never been a time where the budget was taken just one time to the executive and the president assent. There's always an issue. That's why you hear this gray area.
Some of your colleagues said you failed in the first place. That's why Deputy Speaker Lasso came to chair the Harmonization Committee.
The point I'm trying to make is that in several budget years, every budget session, you always have that issue. That is why this word became very prominent, the issue of gray areas. You always have gray areas. But usually, when it leaves the National Assembly and it goes to the executive arm of government, there is no so much public disclosure. Where the president disagrees, the Minister of Finance, then we don't have Minister of Budget, and of course the Director General of Budget Office, usually come up with the gray areas and discuss it with leadership of the National Assembly. And it is resolved and the president will send it. But of course, you understand that this is a new government. This is the first time that we are having a change of government from one party to another. So there's a different way of doing things, different perception. And of course, you know the posture of the president. He's an extremely cautious person when it comes to such issues. And of course, the consultation was a bit weak between the executive and the National Assembly. You have the Deputy Speaker being aggrieved that he's not heading the consultation committee, the Speaker heading it. He doesn't have experience in budgeting system, and he wouldn't want to listen to anybody because he enjoys meeting MDAs, ministers, etc. So a lot of issues, and that was why it went ballistic.
Some of the committee members that you worked with, some of them came to say they have disowned everything that you've said on these allegations, and they also said that the budget was not padded.
Well, two things I will say. Let me start with the issue of the padding. I just explained to you that in their responses, the Speaker and his so-called supporters, they will always say there is no padding in the budget, but Jibrin padded. So it's a huge contradiction. I don't even know what to believe anymore.
But some of your colleagues who disown you, that you work with in that committee.
I'm going to answer the second layer of the question. The first one, that's the padding aspect. So it's a bunch of contradiction, because on one hand they're saying there's no padding in it.
There's absolutely padding according to you.
Then on the other hand, they say Jibrin padded. So even that in itself is enough for you to be able to rate people with such kind of perspective. On the other hand of disowning me, on one hand, you have 9 members out of 40. The appropriation committee is 40 members. Then these are 9 members, and I heard from good authority that they lowered themselves so low that they allowed themselves to be given $20,000 at the house of the Speaker. The money was handed over to them by his Deputy Chief of Staff to go and do such a hatchet job. It is unfortunate because all the 9 members, I know them pretty well, most especially the Deputy Speaker. The Deputy Speaker, when you go back to your station, go and pick the clips of the day that I announced my resignation. Watch the clips again. He was practically crying. Everybody was watching. He was practically crying. I had to turn, excuse the pressman, plead to him, calm him down, sit him down before I was able to address the press. 1 week later, he is the person coming on television to say he's disowning me. Then he is the person again who made the statement that I hijacked the budget and I ran away. The 3 weeks that he is saying they did not see me, we're all on holidays. Remember, we're on holidays. It was when we resumed, then we submitted the details of the budget. And throughout that period, that was why in my statement I said, if a man can lie, CCTV doesn't tell lies. Throughout that period, he was always in my house. He has his favorite food, wheat and vegetable soup, that he comes here and eat and enjoy himself. And we discuss work, everything together. He brought in a request of 111 projects. I have given it, it's there on the internet. I gave them out with a signature there. He wanted to put it into the budget. And I said it's not possible.
Are you still bringing more allegations? Are you making more revelations on Jibrin?
I have said it that I will continue to bring more allegations. I brought in more allegations yesterday. Today I'm giving more, and I will continue to give more allegations until the speaker. As a matter of strategy, there are a couple of things that you don't say it out. But when we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. But what I want to say is that I believe that we should use these 12 members, the speaker, the 3 other principal officers, and 8 members to show example that we are serious about fighting corruption in this country.
There's several names that you have brought up, and a lot of people will say you're just it's just a vendetta. Different names that you have brought up.
You see, one thing about people who accuse me of something is that they don't have any proof. When they say he's immature, they will not cite instances. They say he betrayed, no instances. Vendetta, no instances. The only thing they did not accuse me is that I'm corrupt. That one, they cannot find anything. They have gone all places, all over the world, looking for something that they can use to nail me. None. I have called them corrupt people because I can stand it. I said, Speaker Dogara, you are corrupt. You're a fraud in high place. I said that.
So you want him to be removed?
I want, you see, look, you see, Sheung, you want to reduce this matter to a joke. We've just had this conversation with you. I've told you that I'm depressed, I'm in shock, that despite all the allegations that are out, until now, Nigerians have not come out. Prominent Nigerians have not come out to say, young man, we cannot continue to have you there as number 4 citizen of this country.
Are you not afraid that in pulling these people down, you might go down yourself?
I'm not pulling anybody down. I'm just doing the right thing. And if that is going to take away my life, let me, moderately, with the risk of sounding immodest, I've been blessed with everything that a human being can ask God to bless him with it on earth. The only thing that I need in this world is to bequeath a legacy of a good name for my kids. That is all I want in this world. I don't want anything again.
Honorable Jibrin.
Yes.
And you, a lot of Nigerians who are watching you right now will be wondering what manner of saint you're painting yourself. But can you look into that camera and tell Nigerians that truly you are without any taint whatsoever in this matter, because the truth eventually will come out?
How many times have I said that? You want us to count?
No. Nigerians will want to look at you right in the eyes if you look at that camera and tell Nigerians that truly you know nothing about all this matter and you are a saint in this matter.
Because we've already gone so far about that, that's why I'm asking you. You want us to count?
No. Honorable Jibrin.
You should rather be asking me.
You are talking to Nigerians, not I'm just an intermediary.
I've always spoken to Nigerians. What I'm trying to say is that you should rather ask me, how many more times will you be able to tell Nigerians that you are not a corrupt person? I've said it so many times.
If you'd like to look into that camera, Honorable Jibrin, and tell Nigerians that you,
I've always been on camera,
that you are not corrupt.
I've always been on camera all my life.
They want to see your eyes, eyeball to eyeball, to say, you said
it. I know that you will not want to leave this interview until you get me intimidated. But you will not intimidate me, you will not succeed. I've always been on camera all my life. I've always spoken to Nigerians. I've spoken to Nigerians extensively in the last 1 week. And I have said it. When I accuse the speaker, don't you understand what it means? When you sit as a member and you look at your speaker, you say he's corrupt. Do you know what that means?
Have you spoken with the president on this matter?
No.
Have you spoken with the leaders of your party on this matter?
Well, there are a lot of things that I wouldn't want to disclose now.
A lot of people will look at you now and the manner in which, the passion in which you're saying all of these things that you're saying. Are you under any kind of pressure?
Well, I'm not under any kind of pressure, Shemu. People who know me very well understand that I'm a very blunt person by nature. I don't know how to pretend. I don't know how to lie. I give respect to anybody that respects himself. And I take responsibility where I should take. And I'm pretty sure that you are saying this because of how I have reacted so far from the day I resigned. Just to let you know, it's a fact that I have met the speaker and spoke to him, and I said, I want to leave. I reminded him on Tuesday, went up, I spoke to him, because everywhere, the pressure and the rest, I tried to explain to my colleagues, the speaker blocked me. I only participated in one executive session. Since after that, I never had the opportunity to talk to anybody again in the house.
They won't allow you enter into the executive session or what?
The last executive session that was held, I was given a responsibility outside the National Assembly. And a day before the executive session, right inside the chamber, I asked the Deputy Speaker, are we going to have executive session tomorrow? Because I wanted to brief my colleagues. He said, no, there's not going to be executive session. I went up to the Speaker, I asked him, he said, no, there's no need, we've passed the issue of budget. The only attempt I made to even open up to members of the Appropriations Committee, before we left the meeting, they had already told the Speaker that I'm planning to topple the House. But anyway, that's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is that on Wednesday, when I went to the chamber and I spoke to him, and I said, I want to leave. And if it is not announced today, I will have to announce it by myself later in the day. Even that day, he said to me, let's meet by 10 p.m. So I keep telling people that, what did I do to Dogara? What is it that I did to him that is so painful that he wants to disgrace me? I came and said, okay, the pressure is too much. Of course, the pressure from my colleagues is coming because I didn't open up to tell them these are the facts of the matter. Yes, I'll carry the crux. I want to leave. So why don't you just take that? Yes, the man has gone. He's gone. I sat in the office and I was told that he's announced it. But my staff that told me said the Speaker said you came and resigned. That's the only aspect of it that he had. Based on that, I addressed the press. And if you listen to my press statement, he was very friendly. I said, I offered to resign. The Speaker had accepted, and everything is fine. I will continue to give them support. And I moved on. Maybe they do not understand my level of resilience. They thought I will leave the chamber for the next 6 months or 3 months. The following day, a Thursday, before that same Wednesday, in the night, it was on channels at 10 that I was listening to his full speech. Then I was shocked when I heard him saying that we've taken a decision to sack him because I've promised the House that we are going to sanitize the budget process. And this is one action in that regard. So you see now, it's a conspiracy. They want to turn everything on my head and sacrifice me. One person. I'm sure that the country would have even asked that how can you say one person is a problem for an entire budget process? He made that comment. And knowing that fully, I did not commit any offense, and I kept saying it, I kept repeating it, that I did nothing wrong in the entire budget process. If there is any culprit, if there's anything wrong, if there is any culprit in that budget process, or if there's any fraud or attempt to commit fraud, or enrich yourself, or abuse office, it is Speaker Dogara. Even with that, everybody spoke to me that day. My parents spoke to me. My mom spoke to me. There's nothing my mom tells me that I don't listen to. She said, look, it's fine. Just forget about it and move on. Luckily, I have so many things I do. I went into the National Assembly by accident. I wanted to just be a professor in the university. I have run my business successfully. I'm still involved in a lot of things that I do to keep myself busy. The following day, I went to the chamber. And when I went to the chamber, one among the very few mediocres that the Speaker kept around him spoke to someone and told him out of excitement and told him that, look, we are not done with Abdul. We've already planned. Immediately he gets out of the chamber, he's going to be picked up. So a friend of mine came and mentioned it to me that, look, you better leave this place. This is the plan that they had. I actually thought it's a joke.
To arrest you?
Yeah, to arrest me.
With the police?
With the police. I actually thought it's a joke. But somehow, very unlike me, because I can be a bit resistant to such things, I left. Something in me said, leave. I left. And I went to my private office, and I was there, and the same guy called me again and told me that they've picked your orderly. So I tried to call my orderly. I didn't get my orderly. His number was switched off completely. I couldn't reach him. So the plan was to just take my orderly, since he knows where I am at all time, bring it to me, just surprise me, because they were panicking that I'm in a position of documents. And I think the speaker was a bit unsettled. And I wouldn't have done it. It was a very, very terrible situation. And when the guy called me for the second time, and I started sensing, yes, something is wrong because I didn't get my orderly. But what kept going on in my mind is that, why would he want to do that? I have left. What is it that has happened between myself and Dogara that will be so wicked that he wants to announce to the world that he has sacked me? Secondly, he wants to tell the whole world that it is my fault. Budget process, the problem is Jibrin. Then thirdly, again, he wants to give the world the impression that I'm a criminal. Why? I actually planned to go to Kano, so I quickly arranged, and I left. Midnight, my wife now called me, and I heard her shouting, leave my house, leave my house, get out. The police had come into the house, and they were asking for documents, that they're looking for budget documents. And I was called, and we spoke to a couple of people around. They were able to push them outside, out of the house, and they mounted their vehicle. For the next 48 hours, they were in front of this house. It was until when the issue became a media issue, got on Sahara Reporters and the rest, they became scared. When they came, they dropped an arrest warrant. Eventually, somebody called me from, he said he's from the police headquarters, and he was able to reach me in Kano, and he said he wants to see me. I said, if you want to see me, you just send me invitation. But you've already sent people to my house. He said, no. He doesn't know that they did all that, whatsoever you have, and the rest. 2 days later, they now send invitation to my wife that they want to see me. So I called him and I said, which one should I believe? First, you came to my house with an arrest warrant. You've never seen me. You've never spoken to me. You've never interacted with me. You've never had a discussion with me. You came with an arrest warrant. 3 days later, you've now sent letter of invitation again to my house. So I became scared. So I briefed my lawyers. I said, go into this matter. In the last 8 days, it was only yesterday that I was able to see my family. Because both the police and some thugs were recruited intermittently. They come, do surveillance in the house and go away. Do surveillance in the house and go away. Meanwhile, my lawyers took the arrest warrant to the magistrate. It was a fake arrest warrant. So this is part of even the issue I'm putting forward. It has to be investigated. Who procured that arrest warrant?
You think your life is under threat?
Absolutely. And that was why my lawyers wrote, because I do not have so much confidence in the police again because of this event. We wrote the State Security Service, and very luckily, in the professional manner they deal with issues, they provided me with security yesterday.
You think you are safe now?
And, yeah, of course, it's God that protects us, but God does not protect you directly. He protects it through human beings, and I am sure that they are professional enough to provide protection. And also, we requested that the Secretariat of the Appropriation, and of course my office in the National Assembly, should also be protected, and they've also taken steps to protect it. Though I have sufficient documents in my possession, but also I'm interested in the computers, the hard disk that are in the Secretariat of the Appropriation, and of course plenty of files and documents that I still have in my office. We still need additional, of course, some of those documents and some of those evidence to be able to provide during the prosecution of Speaker Dogara and the other members of the corrupt groups.
You fight this to the very end, isn't it?
To a logical end. I have told you that this is the first segment of the struggle on budget, and I have said it very clearly. There is no going back about this. Look, let's assume that I even want to go back. I even want to do an about turn. There is no way I can do an about turn. Nigerians have already taken me, accepted me. The good thing is that I also love it. And I want to execute that for Nigeria. I want to open up the National Assembly for Nigerians to see. I want to start it internally, the big issues, so that it does not cause asymmetric shock in the system, like the issue of running costs, etc., performance appraisal. Of course, the Senate President has started the process of budget reform and the rest. By the time we resolve this issue, we get Dogara out and the remaining corrupt people in his group out of the National Assembly, get a new speaker, and replace the 3 other principal officers. We're going to sit. I'm also going to initiate that process to engage the Senate President and, of course, engage the new speaker and look at them eyeball to eyeball and tell them the truth. Internally, we should do this. I've also said it, that if by December those reforms are not done and made public, I will also come back to the public and tell them, look, this is what is happening in the National Assembly. So all I ask for is protection from the security agencies. That is all. There is nothing I don't know. Now, take it that I wasn't part of the system. How will I know what's going on? Because I was part of it. Even now, if I listen to some people, I will stop this because they will tell you that, oh, it will affect your career. Nobody will trust you. Nobody will do business with you, etc. I don't want anybody to do any illegal business with me. If you have anything illegal, go with it. I'm not interested. I'm happy with my life. I want to dedicate the remaining part of my life in the fight against corruption, specifically the National Assembly.
Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
It's so much pleasure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you
talking
too.
to you.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.